Over the Garden Wall is a timeless masterpiece of animation. Year after year, it's my go-to show to get me into the fall spirit. Every year, I enjoy it just as much as the last. Over the Garden Wall was originally released on November 3rd, 2014. It's created by Patrick McHale, who first had the idea in 2004. Stars Elijah Wood, who you probably know from Spy Kids 3, Christopher Lloyd from My Favorite Martian, and Sam Marin. There's so many little aspects of Over the Garden Wall that make it so special. A large part of the series' identity comes from the fall atmosphere that encapsulates it. The changing leaves, the Halloween costumes that Wirt and Greg wear throughout, the autumnal mood of the soundtrack. The pumpkin village that they stumble into early in the series sets the tone quite soundly. I can't think of another show that immediately comes to mind when I think of fall. For a lot of people, I know it might be the Gilmore Girls or Sleepy Hollow, but for me, Over the Garden Wall has always been the greatest autumn series. The music in Over the Garden Wall is just ridiculous. It's so original, memorable, and tone-shifting. I dare you not to sing along to Potatoes and Molasses.
Oh, potatoes and molasses. If you want some, oh, just ask us. They're warm and soft like pumpkin. It was you!
Patient as the Night, Over the Garden Wall, Send Me a Peach, and The Fight Is Over are just ridiculously good songs that are frequently on my playlist and make great moments in the show so much more memorable. And songs like A Courting Song and Miss Langtry's Lament are incredibly original. The voice cast is exquisite. I mentioned a few of the bigger names in the project, but every character is so well brought to life. And some of the side characters, like Auntie Whispers, are once again enhanced so much by factors like this. Shout out to Tim Curry. Melanie Lynskey as Beatrice, Fred Stoller as Fred the Horse, John Cleese as Quincy Endicott, Samuel Ramey as the Beast. Every voice is done to perfection. There's one voice that I think is the most important though, and that is a young Colin Dean as Greg. Greg has to be my favorite cartoon character of all time. He is perfection. His constantly upbeat attitude, his nonsensical rambling, his comedic timing, his speech patterns, his catchphrases, his pet frog, his little barrel-shaped body, his giant eyes and overalls. Greg is beyond hilarious. Ain't that just the way has worked itself into my regular vocabulary years ago and never left, as did Greg's sudden "oh," and his knack for naming frogs after old political figures or people he knows personally. This show could stand on its own even if Greg were an underwhelming character, but him being the actual GOAT is what makes me watch the series every single year. In addition to the fall atmosphere and the offbeat humor, an eerie plot lurks throughout Over the Garden Wall. Greg and Wirt are kids lost in the woods, and they don't know how to get home. Everyone tells them to beware the beast that lurks in the forest. They seek Adelaide, the good witch of the pasture, who actually has sinister intentions. Auntie Whispers eats turtles. Even if she didn't turn out to be evil, that's still weird, and the episode was super creepy. They find that pumpkin cult in episode 2. This could be a horror series so easily, but it's not. It's a whimsical tale about finding yourself, acknowledging the relationships you have in your life, overcoming obstacles, and maybe above all, never judging a book by its cover. The pacing of the series is perfect. Running for 10 episodes at 11 minutes apiece, the whole series can be watched in less than 2 hours. While the series largely consists of the characters meandering around and running into hijinks that delay their quest, not a second is wasted in terms of plot development, character development, and comedic excellence. I wouldn't cut a second from the show. I also think the quick pace suits it perfectly. It doesn't linger on anything, which makes the offbeat humor hit even harder, and the fantastical setting feel even more surreal. It's all a part of the series' beautiful identity, as are the frogs. George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Wirt, Jason Funderburker, whichever you prefer. He's awesome. Greg's sidekick, a big old frog, wanders around with him the whole time. Even when we think he's gonna leave after he signs that record deal, he still comes hopping back to be with Greg. I for one was absolutely relieved at that moment. Sometimes Greg just carries him around, sometimes he walks on his own, sometimes he's cold because he doesn't have any socks, and sometimes he sings like an angel. Benjamin Franklin is such a wonderful comedic tool, but to me, he also represents what makes this series so special. There's a strong sense of wonder about the series that allows you to watch it in a way that no matter what happens, you won't be confused. Of course the frog can sing. Of course the girl turns into an evil spirit. Of course the pumpkin men were actually dead skeletons wearing pumpkin heads. You have to let yourself throw logic to the wayside and go all in on enjoying the fantastical adventure in order to fully appreciate Over the Garden Wall. There's remarkable character development in the series as well, but frankly, there's a lot of shows with great character development. There are not a lot of shows with the rich identity that Over the Garden Wall has. The unique humor, music, atmosphere, character designs, crazy and fantastical story, and the use of frogs that Over the Garden Wall nails. I didn't even talk about the beautiful animation. There's just so much that makes this show special. It's a true masterpiece, and one that demands to be watched several times. I first watched it alone as a kid one day when I was homesick from school. Since then, I've watched it many times. With my siblings, with my friends, with my girlfriend. It's something that brings us all together. Something that we each love and share and reference often. That's what makes the series so important to me. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you'll leave a comment and let me know what Over the Garden Wall means to you. Thank you, have a wonderful day, and don't forget what Goku says.